We watched it smolder and burn in February. It took firefighters hours to contain the flames shooting from the roof of a college dorm. Tonight, it is reopened for students with new safety improvements. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Justin Pizzera.
I'm Megan Matthews. Kelly Bartnick covered the story the day of the fire and is live again now with a much different scene. Kelly.
Yeah, Justin and Megan, Scott Village went up in flames 6 months ago. The construction timeline to get it back open by move-in day here was an aggressive one. The building is full tonight, and UNO says it's improved, too.
Woo! Hang on, baby.
This is their home for the next 9 months. UNO students starting new classes, a year of new experiences that all begin in a brand new bed.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. It does smell now. We totally remodeled and reconstructed from basically the brick in.
Scott Village Building G is back up, home to 48 students who are now settling in. Few have any idea of the work that got them back to this point.
We took all the plumbing out, the electrical, the lighting, and then it's all been reconstructed, and actually they were done a little bit ahead of time.
After all this, a discarded cigarette on a second-floor balcony sparked flames in February. Wind whipped them even more out of control, making the battle against the blaze a big one, leaving every Building G resident homeless.
I was driving in the area coming home from work and I saw the smoke.
Carol Taylor now stands in an apartment on the same floor the fire began as her son Zach starts his freshman year as a Scott Village resident Sunday. Just fine, he says, with the building's past.
Can't wait to start my degree, get everything done, live the college life.
The aspiring building engineer has no reason to worry, officials say, because this building has safety improvements the one before it did not.
Composite decking onto all the balconies. And then we also did a hardy board inside the balconies as well. And we added a sprinkler feature on the balconies as well.
All in the name of fire protection. New barriers to any blaze. Peace of mind for moms and dads and their children who once again call Scott Village home.
Didn't realize that it was the exact building, but then after we heard that he was in the building, I was a little bit relieved that we got renter's insurance.
UNO says the price tag for this new building is $2.3 million. Now, it went up so fast in part because the Keywood engineers who worked on this project also worked on the original project and used those plans when reconstructing the building. And we also need to mention that during the fire, after the fire, 48 students were homeless, but none of those students were injured in that blaze. Reporting live tonight in Exarban Village, Kelly Bartnick, KMTV Action 3 News.
Dozens joined a nationwide message in Omaha, showing support for protesters in Ferguson, Missouri.
I ain't surrendering. You ain't surrendering. We ain't here to surrender for nobody.
Community activist Willie Hamilton says the group was standing against police brutality in Ferguson and Omaha. Men locked arms at the Malcolm X Center to signify they stand and fall together.
Because I know, as African-American male, that's the chance of them getting stopped by the police goes through the roof. Because what happened in Ferguson could have easily happened here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Hamilton says after years of racial profiling, he struggles to trust the Omaha Police Department. Reverend Al Sharpton called the shooting death of Michael Brown a defining moment for our country.
And let's take a look at some of the pictures coming out of Ferguson right now. This is from the CBS station in the St. Louis area, a live look of what's going on in Ferguson. We were listening in earlier as they were starting their local broadcast. Tear gas fired by police. Now, this is some of the video that was just taken moments ago. Molotov cocktails were thrown by the protesters. So another night of this elevated demonstrations by folks.
Officers are in riot gear tonight. You can see it there. The curfew has been set in Ferguson. It runs from midnight to 5 a.m. We've also learned today federal agents are getting involved in this shooting investigation. The U.S. Attorney General has ordered a federal medical examiner perform another autopsy on Brown's body. And that curfew, we were talking midnight. The area of Ferguson, it is on the same time as we are, so it is about 10:05 there right now, so still a good 2 hours until this curfew goes in place. And then 5 o'clock it'll be lifted. Of course,
We are going to keep monitoring this. Again, a live look coming from Ferguson right now, and bring you the latest on our news starting again at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Well, community activists will hold a prayer walk tomorrow for Omaha's latest murder victim. Someone gunned down 3 people in a car near 37th and Pratt Saturday morning. The victims drove their car 2 blocks south to 37th and Bedford, where they crashed. 21-year-old LaDonte Doherty died. He's Omaha's 17th murder victim this year. The group will gather at 37th and Pratt for tomorrow's prayer walk.
And the violence did not stop there. 3 more people are injured after shootings this weekend. Omaha police booked Carl Johnson in a shooting at Orchard Park. Officers say witnesses told them that there was some kind of an argument between a large group around 8 o'clock last night. Police believe Johnson shot 23-year-old Josh Hintz. Now, they were involved in a fight. Johnson ended up on the ground and a gun fell out of his pants. Now, police say that's when everyone in the park ran. Johnson then picked up that gun and started firing. Hintz was shot. Medics took Hintz to the hospital in critical condition. Johnson is booked on assault charges. And police are looking for the suspects involved in 2 separate shootings overnight. The first started at 2 o'clock in the morning near 44th and Redmond Avenue. The victim, Deshaun Davis, told officers that he was inside a home when gunshots were fired from outside. Davis was hit. 20 minutes later, officers went to 39th and Pinckney for a shooting. They found Santangelo Gonzalez Woods with gunshot wounds. Police did not say that these shootings are related.
A sentencing is scheduled for tomorrow for the Sarpy County teenager accused of assaulting 3 women. 17-year-old Kyle Farragutti pleaded guilty to assaulting and trying to strangle a woman in December of 2013. Prosecutors say he attacked 2 other females while out on bond. Farragutti faces multiple charges involving assault, sexual assault, and strangulation.
Allegiant Creighton Health has unveiled plans for a new medical complex that will replace the university's hospital. The company announced the 90,000 square foot project today. Construction on the $35 million medical facility will start next spring and should be ready by late 2016. The new facility at 24th and Cumming will offer outpatient and emergency services. And turning to our red, white, and blue 2014 coverage, immigration could influence the governor's race. Republican Pete Ricketts and Democrat Chuck Hasbrook are divided over whether the state should continue to deny driver's licenses for young immigrants. President Obama's deferred action policy grants temporary pardons to youth illegally in the U.S. with a clean criminal background. Senator Jeremy Nordquist says that he will introduce a bill to reverse that Nebraska policy.
Months before his death, an Iowa teenager registered to become an organ donor. But his mother has learned his wish was not fully granted because he was gay. After years of bullying, AJ committed suicide. She found out his heart went to a 14-year-old kid. His eyes were rejected because of an FDA regulation. The regulation came decades ago at the height of the AIDS epidemic.
They asked me if my son had been sexually active, and my response was something to the effect of, no. He'd never had a boyfriend. I'd never known of him even going out on a date. But then I was like, well, I don't know. He's 16 years old.
The donor network had to assume he'd been sexually active in the last 5 years. The FDA does allow donations from heterosexuals who have slept with an HIV-positive person or commercial sex worker after 1 year.
Good meats and good eats with all the fixins. Dozens of people ate this afternoon to support a local fire department. The Ponca Hills Volunteer Fire Department held their annual barbecue festival. Firefighters say this is their major event each year that raises money to support the year-to-year operations. This is the 48th year for the barbecue, and it just keeps on getting bigger. What a way to raise money. I always say raise money by eating. I like it.
That barbecue looked great. It was a nice day for it.
That corn on the cob looked fabulous.
So what's headed our way, John? Anything?
Yeah, we do have some rain on the way. It looks like we're going to be getting wet later on tonight after the midnight hours. We take a look at our